can forget this scene at City Hall in North Tonawanda back on June 25th of this year, and neither can retired Staff Sergeant Timothy Payne and his mother, Shirley Stanton.
5 police officers came up behind me.
It was primary election day and the building was evacuated. Payne was arrested after a search of his van and mobile home parked outside uncovered a loaded pistol, 2 loaded military-style rifles, and about 400 rounds of ammunition, and what was believed to be an explosive device.
I called the North Tonawanda police. They told me he had a bomb in the car. And I said, what are you talking about? He has no bomb in the car. He's not anything like that.
Later, authorities say they found no threat of a bomb, but since Payne did not have a valid New York State license to carry, he was charged with criminal possession of a weapon, which is a violent felony.
I've never broken the law before. I've served my country righteously, with integrity, and with fortitude, and never quit.
Prior to the incident, he had been living in North Carolina and traveled up here with all of his belongings in the vehicle, including his weapons. That day, Payne says he was trying to network and promote his business, Chosen Leadership, that aids other veterans. In the past, Payne has done talks about his experience with PTSD and life after losing both legs in an IED blast in Afghanistan.
War requires sacrifices. I went into the military knowing that, and I knew that I probably would die, but I made it through it, and I'm alive, and I'm trying to share the experience of how I cope.
His caregiver and mother, Shirley Stanton, is also trying to help others cope.
So I have 4 sons.
All of which have enlisted in the military.
So I worked in psychiatry at ECMC for many years.
After retiring, Shirley pursued her master's in healthcare management and is the 2019 Elizabeth Dole Caregiver Fellow for New York State. She's developing a peer group for caregivers of injured veterans.
The best way for anybody to come in and not feel any stigma for mental health is to get involved with groups that people have similar experiences and I can identify with what that person might be going through.
Retired Staff Sergeant Payne underwent a mental evaluation at the VA and was cleared. A Niagara County judge released him into the care of his mother. Payne is due back in Veterans Court later this month, where he plans to fight and clear his name and get back to the work that matters most to the Purple Heart recipient.
I've been trying to go and share what God has done in my life.
He's very passionate about what he does. He is not crazy, as some people say that he is, but he does want to go out there. He does want to change the world, and some people don't understand him.
In Alden, Fadia Patterson, Spectrum News.
So Tim, go ahead. Okay, so I was in the military for 11 years, and I got injured in Afghanistan. I retired in February, and I knew that I had to transition out of the military into civilian life. So what I first had to do was figure out how society works, and so I did a bunch of research and found out how awesome the economy is, and then all the scandals that are going just crazy. I just focused on religion because my father told me not to deal with evil in the world, so I said forget about all that stuff, and I started reading into the Bible and really started to understand what Jesus' teachings were, and I applied it to my life. Before, I was going down a road of just destruction, of killing my fellow man in war, and I am totally against that now. So I want to do what Jesus would want all of us to do and live and walk in his footsteps and be a good person and be righteous. And I made a deal with God before I got injured. I never really told anybody about this because I never really thought about it at all. But on July 3rd, I received an instrument of war that was used in World War II to take out the Nazi regime. And someone told me that I was a warrior for Christ, so I really started reading into God's word. And he reminded me about the bargain that I made like 2 days before I got injured. And I told him, I was like, hey, if you can spare me, I will do whatever you want. You can take my legs, it's not a big deal. 2 days later it happened. I never really thought about it. But on the 17th this month, or last month, he reminded me, and I was visited by an angel, and I wrote about it in a story, and I'm figuring it all out as I go. I'm letting the Spirit guide me. I'm writing a story about everything that I've been through, and I'm going to donate to everybody. So that's it. I'm excited to be here, and my journey starts as of tomorrow. Thank you.
I'm just going to use my name.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. Timothy Payne, based upon your Jesus Christ. Christ, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.